So the current state of change management from a kind of Bridgeforce point of view it's the same as it's always been in many ways. The kind of unifying theme of the projects that we do with our clients is that they want to change something, enhance something, hopefully, or fix something which is broken. People have something they want to achieve which is important. They have generally not as much time as they'd like to be able to do that. And they generally, and we find this more increasingly over the last few years, are relying upon people within the organisation to affect that change who might not be fully dedicated to that task. So, same old problems really, not enough people, too much stuff to do, lots of pressure from regulators and from the market really. From a kind of topical point of view, a lot of the change agenda for our clients is shifting because of the unfortunate kind of geopolitical events and the uncertainty that's brought to some sort of financial markets, but also the cost of living kind of pressures which are building on both sides of the Atlantic. It's making many of our clients reassess their priority list in terms of which areas of the business they're seeking to affect change in terms of collections or risk or sort of customer care sort of functions. So what are the biggest hurdles in change management? It's getting stuff done with a limited budget. It's the downstream knock-on impacts of an increasing number of systems and applications. It's being able to evidence the impact you're having on a customer experience. And a lot of kind of change projects that we do, there is always a kind of end consumer or customer who is either having a product made more accessible or a new product launched. So always having that kind of customer lens on everything you do during the change management process is incredibly important. The other things which are often we see as being as important as the content of the change is the management of stakeholders around a change project. I guess the unique spin that Bridgeforce puts on change management is that we're not slaves to any particular change management methodology, so we look at all our projects as kind of unique things, and we try to understand the unique circumstances that our clients are dealing with. And those circumstances could be sort of very practical limitations like budgets, like IT infrastructure, or they could be things like cultural or reputational or other sort of circumstances which affect how we should address that change project. I believe that practical experience and that execution kind of focused experience that we've had enables us to create an effective way to manage your project as opposed to an effective way to manage projects in a generic sense. So a couple of things you can do to mitigate kind of cost and time waste in a change management setting. I think one is it's kind of making difficult decisions sooner about projects. No one wants to be the person that shuts a project down, but you'd rather shut a project down after 3 months than after 18 months. So I think being open to the idea that making a decision not to do something is often as good a decision as to do something can save a lot of effort and cost and general heartache. I think being focused on the core outcomes you're trying to achieve, and this is a fairly obvious thing to say, but a lot of projects get delivered on time but having been de-scoped in some way. At the beginning of a project there is an outcome which you're describing to stakeholders and you're kind of betting various benefits and enhancements on. And then if the de-scoping happens throughout the course of the project, you end up with something which is it's accretive but it's not as beneficial as what you set out to do. So being extremely focused on where are you getting your main kind of customer benefits, experience benefits, monetary benefits, ring fencing those aspects of the project and protecting those sort of at all costs is, say, a fairly obvious thing to say, but it's also a fairly sensible thing to do when you're trying to manage a change project. So I think it's the kind of real life experience and I would hope to think the relatively high emotional intelligence that Bridgeforce can bring to your change project to enable our clients to, I guess, navigate the idiosyncrasies of different people and different organisations and different departments, but keep focused on the important thing that they're trying to deliver in the centre of it all, which is the change management project itself.